Hello and welcome back to Shuffle Junkies. The 17 additional cards for the Dawnbreak Night Edge expansion have been released, and one of them is Spartacus. Now, Spartacus removes the Reaper, i.e. the last card in your deck, the lose condition for decking out. It gets rid of that and replaces it with a victory card. So if you run out of cards, you win the game. Additionally, at the end of each turn he's in play, he pulls 2 officers from your deck and puts them in your hand. What's that mean? That means we want to put together a control deck that draws up just all the cards. You want to draw as fast and as many cards as possible. So, we have Chromatic Duel in here, and that's because it's a versatile card, but more importantly, if we play it on turn 6, it generates 2 cards for us, and then resets our play points. We refund those 6 points we played, we get them back. Why is that important? Well, the backbone, besides Spartacus of course, is Altered Fate, which for every card in your hand that you discard, you draw a card. So generating cards in your hand through Chromatic Duel increases the size of the hand and therefore increases the number of cards you draw. To a similar effect, Lux Solar Lancer will also draw 2 cards into your hand. Spartacus, as we said before, does that. So those are nice. I always forget to mute things. Ignore those messaging sounds that just happened. So things that pull cards into your hand, generate cards, or in the case of Arthur, dump them on the table, that's thinning the deck out and increasing the odds we're able to deck out our own deck. So those are good. Very good. We also get to enjoy such cards as Shining Bellringer Angel, who will draw us 2 cards when she dies. Pure-Hearted Singer, of course, draws 1 on play, draws 1 on death. And I think that's all the card draw we have. Oh, silly me, Chronos, who will draw cards based on the attack value for each player. So, that's pretty much the draw engine of the deck, is Chronos, Lux, Spartacus, Bellringer Angel, Pure-Hearted Singer, and Altered Fate. Those cards tend to be enough to forcefully draw through our deck as quickly as possible. On the control front, Chromatic Duel is great for that, with a Rush minion, the Queen Hemera the White, who also generates a 1/1 each time she attacks, and Queen Magnus the Black, who will prevent all of our minions from taking spell damage, which is very good as a post-King Arthur play. Bladed Hedgehog is just a very good 2-drop. We actually do want a decent number of 2-drops, that way Arthur, who I only have 1 of, and I refuse to craft more because I don't play sword enough to warrant more than 1 King Arthur. We want 2-drops for him to pull. And Bladed Hedgehog is one of the best, because every time your opponent's minion dies, he gets bigger. Lancer is a good 2-drop, and also on turn 6 he gains Bane, so he could just remove anything, and he also is immune to damage if you play him on turn 7. Get out of here. So he's great. Holy Bear Knight, another good pull for Arthur, but also a good enhanced card. You could play him on 2 as a 2/2, or you could play him after 5 as a 4/4. Wards are premium in this deck, because we just need to stay alive while we work our way through our deck. We got Shield of Flame in here as a nice cheap spell to get rid of some of our minions, our opponent's minions. You can play it on 2 for 3 damage, or on 6 for 6 damage, so it's good for getting rid of most threats. Lancer of the Tempest, you could play him on 3 for 3 damage, or you could wait until 7 and do 2 damage to everything and then 3 damage on top of that to 1 other minion, so he's essentially a little living board clear, and he has great card art. What's there not to like? Frontline Cavalier is a small healing vessel for ourselves. I got Albert in here. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm probably removing Albert. He's a nice 3/5 Storm, or you could play him on 9 Evolved, of course. But he's not really all that versatile, which is probably why he's going. King Arthur will dump your full board worth of 2-point followers, which is very nice for thinning out the deck. And that's every card. It's really just draw, 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 try and stay alive, and win through decking out. In fact, I'm going to replace Albert Levensaver right now. And you'll get to see what's going to go in his place. Because we really just need to stay alive. We're looking for survivability here. And I know exactly the card to put there. Anyone that's ever seen Swordcraft in action knows exactly what card's showing up in this spot. Luminous Mage, there we go. That's essentially 3 bonus evolution points, which is great for staying alive, and you can pair it with any other card that is a commander, of which we have quite a few. I don't know why I clicked on Chronos, he's not a commander. So there we go. Unlimited Draw Works is ready. So you are going to see a version that has a few different cards, because I recorded these videos before doing the Luminous Mage swap, obviously, and Lancer used to be Juliet, which is not great. So 2 Lancers, way better. It's basically a little board clear. But enough yammering on, let's see the deck in action. Alright, let's start off with a mirror match, of all things. Someone else who is playing a deck-out deck. A self-mill. So there's Juliet. Obviously, Lancer's a way better choice. We're not really doing face damage. Like, we'll sometimes have to try and win through damage if we're not getting the card draw we need, but ultimately you're just looking to run out of cards, so Juliet wasn't really helping out with that. Lancer's way better. He's 3 damage as opposed to 2. Rush is all we really need. The end. So, the real trick for this deck is Altered Fate only costs 2, so you always want to think, like, oh, I want to play it now. You want to hold on to Altered Fate. You want to maximize the value of Altered Fate. Especially for the early game, where we need some of these 2-drops and these 3-drops. So holding on to Altered Fate for when we have a bigger hand, we get better value out of it, increases the odds of winning. Of course, if you have a hand that's useless, and you need a desperation play, Altered Fate is fine. Use that to redo the hand, increase the odds of winning. Don't really need Juliet or any of those other cards, and we pull another Altered Fate, which is nice. We're really just looking to make our hand as big as possible, as quick as possible. Spartacus, very good. So we got Spartacus and Chronos, 2 of our big win conditions here. Well, Spartacus literally is our win condition. Chronos helps a lot. And of course, this card is less than 24 hours old. There's definitely other ways to put this deck together, and I'm still trying to figure out what's a good way to do it. And this is just unlimited. I'm pretty sure we can make this work in rotation. I'm just not 100% sure how to do that just yet. I'm still messing around. But I figure, might as well take a look at it, right? And I have decent results with this first version of the deck, so I wanted to mess around with it. Show you guys some Spartacus fun. And thanks to him being alive, we get to draw 2 cards. I might actually replace King Arthur. If I get him early in the game, he's great. Like, if I play him on turn 7, that's 4 cards pulled out of the deck. It's great thinning. On the other hand, if I get him later in the game, which we will have a couple of examples of later on, sometimes you just draw a card, or 2 cards, or no cards, and at that point, he is not worth 7 play points. So I might replace him with, maybe Roland the Incorruptible. That way, my opponents can't do more than 4 damage at a time, which would be good for when I'm matched up against, some of the combo decks that do huge burst damage. Lindworm would only do 4 instead of 10. Giant Elephant 4 instead of whatever number he ends up being, which is sometimes as big as 20 if they're playing a Loki variant. And then of course there's Chimera, Giant Chimera. Huge benefit if that can only do 4 damage at a time to you. And since we're here in Unlimited, D-Shift tends to run a lot of big minions that get to attack you multiple times. Reducing them to just 4 might not save your life, but it'll certainly help. So that might be a good swap there. And of course our opponent's playing a few cards that I might be borrowing the ideas for. Chief among them being the guy who makes the pure spell bomb. That's also not a bad choice. A reusable card with a decent body. He pairs well with Chronos. Alright, let's dump all our cards and play a Bell Ringer and a Pure-Hearted Singer. Which basically means if he tries to get through my cards to kill me, he lets me win the game. He won the game for me by playing Bahamut. Alright. And my turn. And of course we win. Here it is. Ding! Everyone was basically full health. Very nice. Alright, Dragoncraft. Funny enough, I had 3 matches against Dragoncraft, and I could just pick any of the 3 because they were all playing the same type of deck, which was a Phoenix Roost deck, which I was very excited to go up against because that helps me out greatly. Having Chronos just cost 4, and Spartacus only cost 3 is great. So I was very excited that all of my Dragoncraft opponents were playing Phoenix Roost. Oh, I can't talk today. Phoenix Roost variants. Mushmouth. Alright. We got that Altered Fate, which is very tempting to play. But I also want to get all these Pure Hearts out of the way. Although, if we can... Ah, yeah, Shield of Flame. So at this point, rather than playing Altered Fate, we could just Hedgehog, blow away the 3/3 with Shield of Flame, and he gets a little bit bigger. Yeah, I played many games of this deck, and not once did I use Albert, so I feel very good about swapping him out in the beginning of this video. That's a shame. I have been considering putting in some rings, that way we could get rid of duplicate Altered Fates. Because if you could chain Altered Fates, that's awesome. You can go through so many cards that way. And some silver rings would, or mystic rings would definitely help that out. So, they're playing a wacky Marduk deck. Which is actually a card I'm considering for the rotation version of this deck. Put in some more spells for control, some Marduks for that nice leader effect. Because every time you play a spell, you draw a card, which is what we're looking for. We sadly won't be able to take advantage of his end of turn effect because we do want to get rid of that 9 damage. As we can see, those leader effects are starting to pile up. Oh, never mind, Marduk is gone. Ah, but now he has the Dragonplate Warrior effect attached to his leader. A card that I really will be putting into Lindworm, I'm pretty sure. It's such a good card for the Lindworm deck. Alright. Play Arthur. We get the 4 pull, which is excellent. And the nice thing about having Chronos in the deck is if our opponent is Dragoncraft or anything that plays huge minions, we have the possibility of decking them out, and if they're not playing with Spartacus, then they just lose. Alright, Phoenix Roost, excellent. So everything in our hands costs half the value. Unfortunately, every time they play a non-follower, we are going to be taking 1 point of damage. That's okay. We have a decent number of wards. We can go ahead and draw a card. And Altered Fate. Altered Fate again. Beautiful. Now you notice Juliet costs 3. Everything rounds up, so she ends up being a 2 cost. Another Marduk, which is dangerous. Especially given that they have so many points left to play with. Oof, and this is adding another point of damage to everything. So this is a very close one, but thankfully they're out of evolution points. Oof. I basically just have to stay alive and I win. Which we did. Very barely. So all I have to do is pass the turn and victory is mine, but I'm a monster, so let's do a little bit of cleaning up here. Draw 2 more cards. And there's our victory card right there. I'm just doing this because I'm an idiot. I don't know why I'm playing any of these things. I win once I end the turn. There we go. Just being a bad person, I guess. What an asshole. And last, but certainly not least, some Shadowcraft. I do like this double Shield of Flame, so I'm going to hold on to the 2 shields. And we got a Spartacus. It's always nice to have your win condition in your hand early in the game. Although, maybe not this early. Alright, Pure-Hearted Singer, very nice. And you see, this is why I was excited about Shield of Flame. Take care of these early problems. Although, we'll let them trade. Again, our wards are only here to prevent us from taking damage. We're not really trying to protect any specific minions, unless we have Chronos effect in play. Hey, this is fun. This is a deck that has 2 leader effects, Chronos's and Spartacus's. I want to make a deck that has as many leader effects as possible. So hopefully they keep on adding leader effect cards. Particularly neutral ones. Alright. We'll go ahead and Shield of Flame. A better play would have been to Shield of Flame this guy, evolve Holy Bear Knight, and trade into the 1/4. But again, I'm really just looking to make sure their minions are not alive, so as long as this little bear is alive, that's fine. We just need to use that 4 attack value to remove opposition. And it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Playful Necromancer here. Generates 2 ghosts, which is annoying. But they have the decency to let me draw a card, which is all I really want out of this. And of course, them at 3 health is exactly what we want for another Shield of Flame with a Hedgehog in play. Alright, it's definitely Spartacus o'clock. That way we draw 2 cards. And of course, you know, we get our win condition. I'll do face damage just because, you never know. Might have to try and swarm him down a little bit. Interesting. Ah, that's why. Mischievous Spirit. I see where the trade's happening now. This into this, this into this, and this into this, and then the end of turn effect will clear the board. Very nice play. Not that it matters to me. We have multiple Lancers in hand. Alright, let's really up the value of our Altered Fate here. Right. So, in a couple of turns, you'll see what I mean about King Arthur maybe being a good replacement. Or rather, a good card to replace. Guess we're really gotta waste him soon. You may notice we have a lot of 2-drops. We've already played a few. Meaning the pool is pretty shallow for him to pull from. Let's get our Chronos effect going, which will let us do a nice big 6-card draw at the end of our turn. And just in case they have a certain Headless Horseman, remove a bunch of minions. I'll leave the ones that draw alone. I don't want to help them pull into Eckert. Instead, they summon a bunch of zombies, which is also fine. We know there's at least one Lancer left in the deck. I've played one, I think. I have one in hand, so yeah, there should be a Lancer, but I think that's it. I'm pretty sure we've gone through everything else. Yep. Perfect time to Altered Fate. And we have another Altered Fate in hand, which should be enough for us to win. Because once this turn's over, we're drawing 4 cards. There they are. Alright. So unless they win this turn, which is possible. No longer possible. It would have had to have been Aisha. With the 10 shadows in play there. Thankfully they didn't have Aisha, so we just win. Altered Fate will more than overdraw. And here it is. Our last 2 cards. Wow. Ah, delightful. Well, there you have it. Unlimited Draw Works. The Spartacus deck. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy playing this deck. I'm working on the rotation version, but I want to know what you think. Do you have a deck list for Spartacus? If you do, hit me up. I want to see them. I want to see your unlimited ones, and I want to see those rotation ones. If you have ideas for good trades, swaps here, different cards to put in, put out, let me know. I'm really looking to double down on Spartacus and have a lot of fun with this deck, because I love mill decks, especially self-mill. It's a lot of fun. So, yeah, let me know. And until next time, bye-bye.